During Week 8 of the Water Tribune at the Zaragoza Expo in Spain, a series of 4 regional GDLN-based sessions will bring together a wide variety of stakeholders, individuals, including youth, institutions, and organizations from different sectors around the globe will share their views and formulate recommendations for inclusion into the Zaragoza Charter, one of the key outcomes of the Water Tribune activities. Participation and dialogue will be in response to short thematic video clips and key questions, facilitated by active moderation. Each geographic region will reinforce and complement inputs from previous GDLN-based sessions, also known as the Virtual Pavilion or eWater Expo sessions. A final closing session on August 7th will harvest collective wisdom from the 4 regional GDLN sessions and seek to connect the dots during a moderated interactive panel discussion with experts present in Zaragoza. Values at the core of our civilization greatly influence the relationship between water and society. Values also increase or decrease individual and collective potential for change. Many societies around the world are deeply connected to water through daily rituals and customs, often religious or spiritual, as part of making a living that depends on linkages to water or for reasons of health and sanitation. Increasingly, societies tend to be divorced from the source or conscious connection with water. In many cities, we simply turn on the tap and, as if by magic, water appears. More conscious are the billions of people who live on less than $2 a day. Much of their time is spent looking for a source of water to connect with in order to meet even the most basic of needs. Global freshwater consumption rose more than 6-fold since 1900, more than twice the rate of population growth. About 1/3 of the world's population already lives in countries considered to be water-stressed, that is, where consumption exceeds 10% of total supply. If present trends continue, 2 out of every 3 people on Earth will live in that condition by 2025.
I don't believe people's spontaneous behavioral changes can handle more than 5 or 10% of an issue like this. In other terms, if we're serious about global problem solving, unfortunately, 90% of the problem solving will be of a regulatory type. Only 10% will be from spontaneous virtuous behavior by people driven by new values somehow.
Not taking more than our legitimate share, that everybody is able to get enough to have a decent life. So that's a very important element.
Human behavior being what it is and harder to change. Value systems may be one thing. The same person who's praying to the water in the morning may be misusing it through the rest of the day. And that's where the legal systems of regulatory frameworks and punitive measures and so on, the disincentive mechanisms, if you like, can also play a very useful role in bringing about that change towards the ultimate goal, which is the respect and the conservation of a natural resource.
There are a fundamental set of values to guide us as we approach this new model of global citizenship. And I think that they have been very well reflected for many years in the Earth Charter.
Water footprints of nations express how much water countries use in relation to people's consumption. They vary considerably. China, for example, has a water footprint of 700 cubic meters per capita per year, while the USA and Spain consume in excess of 3 times that. The 4 principal pathways for reducing the water footprint of a country are lowering the volume of consumption, smarter consumption patterns, such as high versus low meat consumption, adaptation to climate or growth conditions, and improved agricultural practice.
We have to change the consumption pattern. When you go for more meat, meat is a huge consumer of water as opposed to mere cereals. We have to think of new agricultural techniques like drip irrigation. We will have to think of desalination and other technologies river basin sharing agreements of an advanced kind. But the most important point I want to make is because of the ecological footprint overshoot dynamic, we have maximum 20 years to address these issues at the global level and at the local level.